Hi everyone, welcome to this workshop web series dedicated to early stage startups. My name is Marc Andreessen. I am a startup mentor. And before I tell you a little bit about myself, I'm going to tell you exactly why you are actually here and why it was the best choice to watch this video. Entrepreneurship in the last 10 years has grown into something big that basically everybody wants to do today. And everybody wants to actually start their own company. And more people want to exactly do this. Now, what is still preventing people from doing it? What is stopping people from changing their lives? Is it fear? Is it the know-how? Is it the money? And even though it has become radically easy and cheap to start a company, people are still Googling 48,000 times per month how to start a business. And this is where we are today. Today you have decided and made the first right choice to actually watch exactly this video and to learn more about how to get going and how to get started. So let's do it. Let's start to watch exactly what is product market fit all about. Now, as I told you, my name is Marc Andreessen and I am a startup mentor. And good question, what does a startup mentor do? Well, I assist entrepreneurs in reaching their next level. What does this mean? Basically, I help entrepreneurs with their day-to-day problems that they have in their early stage phase. This could be, for example, finding the right business model, working on the sales cycle and to get early stage customers, or preparing startups for funding and grants. Now, I am an entrepreneur myself, and I have co-founded 2 companies until today. The first one is called Up Production, which is basically a video production and a media production company based in Cologne, Germany. The other company that I have founded just recently with 2 friends in September 2014 is called Pitch Stack. And these are just some partners where I have been featured or recommended by. Now, before we dive into product market fit and explore the question why this is so important for an early stage entrepreneur, I just want to make sure that we do a little bit of a housekeeping here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the workshop web series that you can find on my homepage. Video number 1, which you're watching now, is about product market fit. Video number 2 is going to be about business model canvas. And video number 3 is about how to pitch and present your startup to a venture capitalist or to the press. Okay, let's dive into this topic and let's speak about product market fit and how this will help you to succeed as an early stage entrepreneur. Now, this is the agenda for this video. Very simple, 3 parts. I'm going to tell you about what is product market fit. I'm going to talk to you about how to find product market fit for yourself, for your idea, and how you should measure product market fit. So let's dive into the first one about what is product market fit. Now, before I tell you exactly what the definition is, I just want to go one step back and I want to show you this slide. This slide is showing you the startup life cycle as it is, and I took particularly the early stage phase. This is the early stage phase of a startup life cycle, and it basically starts, well, with the start, and it goes then into the idea phase. And this is where you will be, where you start to explore, or where you find a problem and you see, okay, there is a problem out there. There is something missing in the world, and you know that you can make it better with whatever you have in your mind. So this is the idea phase. The next phase is basically the hypothesis phase, is where you actually found a problem worth solving. And this is a very important aspect. There must be a problem which is worth solving. Okay? So your idea has to be involved with a problem that you can solve. The next part is basically you go out there, you go out of the building, you present basically what you have out there, and you go out of the building to basically speak with potential customers, with other people, to validate your hypothesis. Does your idea, or does the problem that you have seen out there, does it exist or not? Or is it just a problem that I've seen but maybe a lot of other people did not? So this is why it is the most important part in this startup life cycle, is to get out of the building. This is what Steve Blank always tells you, is you have to get out of the building and explore exactly the topic that you have. Now, the last kind of part of this startup life cycle in the early stage phase is you prototype something. You build your first product and you build your first service so that you can exactly as well validate again your hypothesis with a product that you have. So you build something, a very, very simple version of your product, the so-called MVP, the minimum viable product, and you test it. You test it with the people that you've spoken about, you give it out to the world, and you see, and you validate again, does your idea have basically, is it a problem worth solving or not? Now, for the purpose of this video, we will focus on the last two steps, on the presenting part and on the prototyping part of the early stage phase startup life cycle. And we will determine how does product market fit actually fit into this two stages. Now, why am I actually telling you this? And why is product market fit so important? I hate to be the bad guy who destroys your dream, but this is the sad reality. Fun fact, 9 out of 10 startups fail. And the problem is you don't want to be one of the 9. You want to be that 10th one which actually succeeded. And how can you do this? This is where product market fit comes into play. And it's so important because I would not say that startups actually fail. It's actually more over that your products fail. And if you take a look at, again, Steve Blank's very nicely defined definition, a startup is a temporary organization used to search for repeatable and scalable business models. And this is true. So that's why your startup could as well, maybe your startup is good, but maybe just the idea that you're working with, you have not found that product market fit. Another fun fact is that 66% of entrepreneurs drastically change their original plans as they were in the beginning. Now, why did they do this? Again, because you have to find that product market fit to really succeed as a startup. And if you don't have it, you're going to be one of those 9 and not number 10 again. So simple question, and here comes now the solution. What is product market fit? And why is it so important? Very easily said, product market fit is the holy grail of entrepreneurship. If you get it and if you find it, you have won. This is where basically you, as an entrepreneur, have hit the jackpot and your product and your startup and your idea will start to scale. You will see growth, and this is the most important part. Now, very loosely defined, in a definition, product market fit is the right product at the right time for a market that is searching for a solution to a problem. So very loosely defined, it is that point of time when your product has evolved to the point that a market and that the customers are really attractive to it. They are ready to work with it and they're ready to take it in as it is. It does not have to be ready yet. They are really waiting for it. This is product market fit. Now, I want to make sure that you understand this sentence because it is the holy grail of entrepreneurship and you should understand it. And it's 3 words that make it very, very unique and that I want to dive a little bit more into to exactly show you what product market fit is. Now, these words are right product, market, and a solution to a problem. So let's dig into these 3. Now, as I mentioned earlier in one of my first slides, I mentioned that the first phase of early stage startups is basically where you would state a hypothesis. And this is exactly where we are now. So the left-hand side of product market fit is always going to be about your problem. What are you talking about? What is the problem that you are searching? What is the problem that you are solving? And so the next stage in phase 2 is basically where you would test your problem. You have to get out of the building, you have to talk to people, and you have to test the problem that you have. And this is what I mentioned as well earlier. Do people see exactly the same problem as you do, or is it maybe just an individual problem that you maybe have, but that other people have solved, or that there is maybe a solution out there already to your problem? So what you do here is you get out of the building and you test it. Now, you have to test your understanding of the customer's problem and the customer needs. That's why it is so important to get out of the building and to speak as well with customers. What do customers tell you about the problem that you are speaking about? Do they see it? And test the understanding of your customer. You are going to figure out how to build a first prototype only if you understand this specific information that you are going to receive from the customer. So that's why, again, get out of the building. Speak to potential customers that are out there. Now, the other side of product market fit is basically the solution and the product side. And this is where you want to test now, not the problem, but you want to test the solution. Is the solution that you're offering, is it something that is important to the people? And the next step here is you want to build a minimum viable product. You want to build that MVP that I was speaking about at the beginning. And in a tech world, this MVP could be, for example, a web application. It could be an app. If you're in the service field, so if you're doing interior design, for example, you would create a minimum viable product about your process here. Everything is about the process in the service field. Now, in this stage, what you want to do is, again, you want to test the solution by building a first minimum viable product. This will give you the opportunity to understand the customer's needs and where your solution actually matches it. A very important part. And this gives you basically, again, an understanding for the customer needs. And this is basically where everything comes together. You have the problem, you have the solution, and this is where basically the holy grail comes into play, and you have found product market fit. Now, very easily said, and there is a very easy question that you have to ask yourself, and you have to be very, very honest with yourself here. Ask yourself now, am I building or am I offering something people really want? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Now, there is basically two answers to this question. There is the yes part. Good. That means you have found product market fit if you were honest to yourself and your product is scaling, people love it, everything is good. Unfortunately, what I hear most of the time, or what I have to tell entrepreneurs, is that no, you're not building or offering something people really want. So as I told you, mostly the answer when I sit down with entrepreneurs, mostly the answer is no. And it's no because their first kind of answer when I ask them exactly, do you have, or what are your customers telling you about your product? Have you achieved product market fit? Mostly what they're going to tell you is that, kind of, yeah, some customers do. They sort of like it, I don't know. But very honestly, and this is where you have to verify and you have to answer this question as best as possible. Very simply said, sort of, kind of, people love it, I'm not quite sure, kind of and sort of, that is not a startup. That is, as Steve Blank would again say, that is where people have been nice to you. You've been talking to those 3 F's, to your friends, to your family, or to fools who were trying to be nice to you and who told you, yeah, I get your product, but basically they don't like it maybe. Maybe it's not that relevant to them. And this is where people, again, have been very nice to you. The only time you know that you have something that is worth investing your time and money is when people are really wanting your product, even at an early stage when it's still full of mistakes and it's full of bugs and so on. A very nice example which I always give to entrepreneurs at this stage is that take a look at the iPhone. The iPhone has created a very good product market fit. People line up and they go out and they line up early in the morning to grab one of those products because they want it, right? So people are taking or going that extra mile because they want your product. This is what you want to achieve, and not a kind of sort of maybe people like my product or not. This is, again, not a startup, and that's not what you want. So how do I know if I have achieved product market fit or not? And basically, there are 2 indications. It works or it doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you how it does not work first. So let's take a look at the left-hand side. Not working is basically where you're going to see a very, very poor conversion rates. People are going to your website, they stay there, and they leave. Nothing happens. People don't like it. There's no word of mouth. Nobody is retweeting your information, and nobody is talking about you. You have a very slow usage growth, and plus there is a very long life cycle. Now, how do you know? Very, very tough, and there's not a clear kind of like pinpoints that I can give you here, but a quote, and this quote is from Marc Andreessen. He tells you that the customers are buying the product just as fast as you can make it. If you've achieved this, you have achieved product market fit. This is what you want. Now let's go back a little bit to our agenda again, and this is what we have achieved until now. I told you what is product market fit, and I told you how to find product market fit. And now I want to dive a little bit more into how to measure product market fit and how to constantly improve it to exactly find the right fit. So how do I measure product market fit? Now the easiest way to do this is with the so-called business model canvas. If you've never heard about this, this is the business model canvas. And the business model canvas consists of 9 fields which all have to fit together to form your business model. And the beautiful aspect about this is that you start asking yourself questions. Questions about, what is my value proposition? How do I deal with customers? What are my revenues? What are my costs? What are my key partners? And all of these questions actually combine, and you start really to think about not only your business model, but you find as well the value proposition and that the customer fields have to fit together. And this is where we are speaking about product market fit. Now, I can't go really that deep into this, but I do have one video, and this is video number 2 on my website, which is going to be just about exactly this business model canvas, so make sure to check that out. So these are the key metrics that you have to deal with before you find product market fit. And we're talking here about these 5. And we're talking about, the first one is acquisition. So how do users actually find you? And we speak here about the homepage, about maybe ads. So how do people from this entire world, how do people come from wherever they are to find you? The next one is activation. Do users have a great first experience? This is very crucial, because even if they have found you and they were on your homepage, they've used your service, or they have used your app, did they have a great first experience? The next one is the retention. So do users come back? Do users use your service only once? Do they only use your app maybe once and then never come back? Or do they really come back and use it on a daily basis? The next one is revenue. How do you make money? And the last one is referral. So do users tell others about how great your product is? So these are the 5 key metrics that you have to be measuring as an early stage entrepreneur. Now, I could be talking 2 hours just about each one of those and telling you exactly how you should be doing this, but this is not the purpose of this video. But check out as well the other videos on my homepage to learn more about how exactly to measure, for example, activation. So this is it. Now, there are 2, particularly 2 of these that are really, really your value metrics for finding product market fit. And this is activation and the retention. And basically what you're trying to ask yourself here is, do users have a great first experience, and do users come back? Because this is where you will determine, did you find product market fit or not? Because if users are coming back and they like your product, then most likely you have found the holy grail. Now, after product market fit, so take a look at the slide again. It says after product market fit, it slightly changes because you have found the activation and you have found that people are really, really liking your product and that they're coming back. Now, after product market fit there are 2 other metrics. So it's acquisition and it's referral. Acquisition are people finding you, and referral are people actually telling their friends. And this is what the growth metrics are all about. If you have to constantly, day by day, work on the acquisition and on the referral to see a growth pattern for your startup. So if we bring now everything back together and we bring it together into a product market fit life cycle, this life cycle has 6 stages. And basically where you always begin is at the top. You're going to be talking about your product hypothesis, and you're going to be defining at this stage, what is your big vision? What do you want to achieve? And what exactly is your product? And what is the problem that you might see or that you might have out there? Now, the next step is identifying your customers. You have to know who are your customers. In my daily one-on-ones with entrepreneurs, one of my first questions that I would ask in the first 10 minutes is, who are your customers? Who deals with your product on a day-to-day basis? And everybody has a customer. It does not matter if you're in the tech industry, if you are doing an app, or if you have a service out there. Everybody has a customer, because that is the simple logic of businesses out there, is that you're solving a problem and that customers are having this problem. So identify it. Find exactly who is the customer. Now, I'm not telling you here to identify exactly the entire scope of your market, but identify these key players who at the beginning, as an early stage entrepreneur, who are really important for you. Who are the people who are going to deal with your product on a day-to-day basis? If you know that, then go to step number 3 and build a minimum viable product, the MVP. And you have to think here, and you have to ask yourself, how am I going to position myself? What is my go-to market strategy? If I have a product, what will exactly be the key values or the key proposition that I'm offering people for solving their problems? So after you have tested and you went out of the building and you have really tried to find a common ground there, the next stage is to analyze. And you use exactly the private metrics that we were just speaking about in the last slide. You have to know and you have to determine, what is your retention rate? What is the rate that people coming back? Do people like your product or not? So make sure to analyze them and make sure to use these metrics from the first day that you're testing your product. And it is, as you see, a very important piece of the product market fit cycle, because this gives you the grounds for exactly the next step, and that is to learn. You have to learn and you have to analyze. You have to analyze exactly your hypothesis. You have to analyze how is your product doing. And if it's not doing good, pivot. Make a change to it. Make a slight change to your product. Shift it. Pivot to your next level so that you can do this product market fit cycle again. And this is an important feature because it is a cycle, because the product market fit exercise assumes that you will be going through this cycle a couple of times until really hitting the jackpot, until finding that product market fit. Because, for example, maybe the customer segment that you have determined is not the one that you want to deal with, or you build an MVP but the people don't like it. So it is a cycle, and you really have to go through this a lot of times, and it is an exercise that you have to do at the beginning. And I know that early stage entrepreneurs don't think about analyzing this with private metrics that they can build, but it is the most important part what you can do out there. You have to analyze them, and you have to find those metrics, and you have to really analyze it according to the metrics and not just speak about it and think that you know it the right way. So let's wrap up and let's see what you have learned for this video today. And these are the lessons that you have learned throughout this video today. Take a look and work on it. You really have to work on your product, on your market, and on your solution. As I told you, the important part here is you really have to go and define them. You have to get out of the building, you have to speak with people, and really try to define as well, what is the problem that I'm solving? What is the product that I'm offering? Who are the people who will use this product on a daily basis? What is my solution? Is it good enough for the people or not? And this is where it is very important. You have to go out of the building. You have to get out of the building and you have to test both the problem and the solution. Why? Because we don't speculate in startups. What we do is we want to validate ideas. We want to validate our hypothesis. We want to validate, does this make sense or not? And the only way to do this is to speak with potential customers who are going to be using this on a daily basis. So go out there, test your product and test your solution. The next step, as I told you, no speculations, no assumptions. What you need to have is hard facts. And the only way that you can get hard facts is with metrics. You have to be measuring metrics. And it's very, very easy to do this. And there are tons of tools out there. And if you have a question, just drop me a line on this. But basically, you have to gather fact and you have to make decisions according to the facts, not to a speculation or to an assumption that you think that the customer might like. Maybe he doesn't. Last but not least, and this is where we just took a look at this, you really have to think about what you're doing out there. Take a look at your product market life cycle again and do it accordingly to these steps. Think about it, work on it, learn from it, and repeat. Repeat because it is a cycle, and a cycle will or could take some time until you really find that product market fit that you have in the end. That is the important part. The most important part that I want to give you now, and this is really, really the most important part that you have to know from this video, no speculations, no assumptions, get hard facts, think about it, work on a product, learn from your hard metrics that you have gathered, and repeat if it does not hit the product market fit holy grail. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to make sure that I give you as well the possibility to actually talk. So let's talk. I told you that I am a startup mentor, so I help and I deal with these questions on a daily basis. And I offer free one-on-one mentoring sessions, both online and in person. So if you're struggling with your product market fit, or if you just want to talk about your idea and you want to get some feedback on that, feel free to book your free session, and you can book it on milanvukas.youcanbook.me. And you'll find the link for this directly under this video. So book your session, it's free anyways, and we can definitely take a look into that. Now, I like to finish all of my videos with a nice kind of quote that you can leave this video and think about it while you're actually trying to find your product market fit. And today's quote is from Marc Andreessen, and it says that in a startup, absolutely nothing happens unless you make it happen. And it's absolutely true. You have to be the key driver of your startup. And you have to do it in a smart way with finding first your product market fit and then scaling, not investing time and money and everything else while you did not maybe find that product market fit. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to recommend this video as well to other friends who are on the quest of finding product market fit. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and check out the other two videos.